Air conditioning back, number 3 video. So they are going to do the repairs that you've seen from my previous 2 videos on here, what I found on this vehicle, which was the front shaft seal and the rear O-rings that are on the compressor. Since they're going to be doing the compressor anyway, those O-rings will automatically get changed. I've seen those. They were found using the UV dye that was stuck in here like 2 years prior. It did turn out this was a vehicle I did recharge 2 years ago, and with 134, and no leaks found then. And even now, using the electronic leak detector, even where I know there's a leak, because the UV dye is everywhere, the leak detector picks up nothing. Soap bubbles pick up nothing. The UV dye wins in this situation. This is one of those situations where it leaks at a certain pressure, temperature, vibration, pressure rising, pressure falling, temperature rising, temperature falling. It leaks at a certain point, but it doesn't leak any other time stagnant or anything like that. The fans are working. I indicated how I was going to test that in the last video, so the procedures for making sure the fans works, that was covered in the last video. And yes, this old thermal fan clutch in here is foobar. It needs to be replaced, and so that'll also go on the parts list. So this will get a compressor, new switches, new receiver dryer, new thermal fan clutch. And let's look at what we have here right now. It's going between like 14 and or 15 and 21, I believe, on the low side. So the expansion valve is doing its little bit of hunting and modulating. It's actually working. We're up here in the high 200s. We're 247.8, and then it goes back down on the high side. We have an inlet temperature of air feeding the evaporator. We have 88 degrees going into the evaporator. We have 43 degrees coming out of the evaporator, so we have a delta 45. Now, look at our subtone, 50, 40 something subtone. Now this is where you get yourself in trouble. I don't have my sensor in the right place to get the correct subtone. It's actually a lot lower than that. Where I need to put my sensor is right on the outlet, which I cannot get to. Of the liquid line of the condenser, I can't even get to that. So I have a long metal line cooling the refrigerant before it even gets to my sensor. Then it goes through the body of the receiver dryer. So I have a big giant shell that has a lot of surface area that is cooling the refrigerant, and then I'm hooked on the line another few inches coming out of it. So that is why I have a false, this is not a real subcooling pressure. And if you don't know how to set your instruments properly, you will get this and go, something's wrong. This is why, unless you really know every year, make, model vehicle and how they operate and what kind of system on there, you can and cannot use subcooling. If you've done 1,000 of a certain vehicle, I'd say go ahead, go. You know what's going to be what where. Now let's go over here to the suction line. 34 degrees at the suction line. I actually know it's colder, but here's the ice forming right here. You can see that's ice. And why is it higher? Because there's like 210 degree air coming from the fan, blowing over this line, blowing over my sensor, saturating it with heat. So I'm getting a false reading by a few degrees, because back here there is ice on it back here. Actually, you can see it crossing white right there. We are beautifully cold. So I know what temperature my evaporator is. A little bit of blend air door problem on it. It's leaking a little bit of heat from some of the fresh air, and these old Mercedes often have issues with some of their blend air door, because I would expect this to be about 39 degrees coming out of the dash right now, even though we have, this car has been sitting here all day, and we're roughly, I think, about 1 o'clock, and it has full sun on it all day. This thing is just baking in the sun, and that's exactly how you do a good load test. It's actually cooler out here than it is there. I'm trying to cool that down. In a minute, I'm going to open up all the doors and windows and everything like that and do that test. But this is, I'm trying to get to the minimum and cool off all the dash is hot, all the seats, where the seats are hitting the sun, the rear is all hot. All that mass of material has to be cooled down before it can actually really start cooling down the cab, because it's fighting the sun that's coming in constantly, but it was fighting the heat bill, all the mass of material all the way through the seats that was building heat. So we'll leave this one be. There will be a fourth video, but they're ordering the parts, and that'll be months later, probably after summer, because they'll just dry this, have the parts sitting on the shelf, and when this customer has time to bring this vehicle in, that is when all these parts will get replaced. Alright, I will see you later. And tools are great, but if you put them in the wrong person's hand and you put the meter in the wrong place, he will get the wrong readings. And I'm just showing you this intently. I could get my little thin guys. Nope, I can't even get them there without moving the headlight. That's it, guys. I will see you, and it doesn't matter if you give somebody good tools. If they don't know how to use them and how the basic principles operate, they'll get wrong readings. See you.